Hey everyone, welcome back. Scotchman here again. So today we're going to do one of my favorites. My favorite distilleries, you all should know, Glenlivet. And I mean, there's a really simple reason. The first bottle of single malt I got that I really cherished was my Glenlivet 12-year-old. My official first bottle of single malt that I got was actually Glen Ord 12-year-old, which I've been trying to find. So if you all know where to find it, let me know. But I didn't know how to appreciate it. I mixed it, I drank it very quickly. Within maybe a week and a half, it was done. Looking for more. And then the next one I got was my Glenlivet 12-year-old. But today we're not gonna taste Glenlivet 12-year-old. I don't know how many of you have actually had the Glenlivet Distiller's Reserve. So that's this. It's a pretty new addition to my collection, but as you can see, I like it a lot. So yeah, it's been going down, and with COVID there's no travel, so this is about to be put to the back of my shelf, back of my cupboard after this tasting, because I want to have it for a little while. Don't know when next I'll be able to see it. And yes, so this is a non-age statement. So that basically means I don't know how old the youngest Scotch in this is, but I do know it's triple matured. So what happens is when Scotch is distilled, you normally put it into American oak or European oak to be distilled, to be matured, sorry. And when that happens, it has to stay at least 3 years for it to be called Scotch. So you'll find that some of the other distilleries started re-racking. What re-racking means is you want to find ways to make your Scotch exciting and vibrant for new people. You don't want people drinking the old Scotch over and over, because then they'll know what to expect and they may experiment with a different brand. So what you want to try to do is have them stick to your distillery, but have many different nuances or flavors or colors or however you want to call it, but have different lines that they can try. And they tend to experiment with this a lot in travel exclusive or duty-free areas, because people passing through would tend to be like, oh, I love Glenlivet, like me, I love Glenlivet, but I don't have this one. I wonder what it's about. Let me give it a try and let me buy it. So that's why they slap travel exclusive on it and they make it a NAS, a non-age statement. That being said, sometimes it's a hit, sometimes it's a miss. This one for me was a big hit because, like I said, I really love Glenlivet. So while I'm chit-chatting, you know the norm, let's pour it out. I mean, lasts for a while, so give it a nice size dram. Yep. Let's just leave it there for a second. So the Glenlivet. So of course, you know, the founders, they were, as most people were in Scotland at the time, early 1800s, they were basically distilling illegally. They weren't worried. They defined they shouldn't have paid taxes. They were doing their stuff. People would come around from the neighborhood and everybody would buy the whiskey. And at that, there was just Campbelltown, there was Highlands and Lowlands. And the Lowlands was producing this mass grain whiskey. I mean, like on mass 24 was invented, and people were just grain whiskey, grain whiskey, grain whiskey. And in that grain whiskey rush, I mean, you're just producing mass. So quality was not where people would have liked it to be. And you'll find the people in the Highlands were focusing on quality and using their pot stills and making smaller batches. And around 1823 or so, an act was passed in the Scottish Parliament that said, hey, forget about that pot stills. Don't worry about that, we're not going to tax you all based on that. Let's try to open up the industry. And then there were a few people from the Highlands that were like, okay, let's go legal now. And the Glenlivet Distillery was one of those people. So what they did was in 1824, I think on the bottle it says founded 1824, act was 1823, so they were one of the first. They were like, alright, let's go, make this thing legal. And they started producing their Glenlivet whiskey, Scotch, which is now from the Speyside region. At that time it was Highlands. They changed the line and stuff like that. But now that region is known for this type of whiskey, and you find lots of other distilleries have the name Glen in it. Some of them not even within the Speyside region or within that valley, they just have Glen in it, because when they founded themselves, they wanted to say, well, my quality, not so much the area or the type of whiskey, no, they just wanted to be synonymous with the type of quality that Glenlivet had basically done for themselves. And I think it's 1880 that the founder and his son decided that they would actually, I think they went to Aberdeen, they went to either, not sure where they went, but they went to patent the name. So after 1880, nobody else could have been named Glenlivet. So you find that's when you find all the other distilleries with the Glens came up, because everybody was calling themselves the Glenlivet, but not anymore. So, you know how we do with tastings. Just gonna give it a little swirl. Let's see what those legs look like. So, you know, if it's thin runny legs, you expect it to be not very complex, not very robust. one flavor all the way through. This isn't even start to run, it's now starting to run. So that means it's thick and it's slow. So it's going to be robust and it's going to be complex, and that's what you would expect with triple casking, because normally you distill your Scotch, you distill your whiskey, you put it in a cask, American oak or European oak. But what they've done with this particular Scotch is they've put it in that oak, then they took it out. At least 3 years for it to be called Scotch. They didn't say how long they did it for, but they took it out and then they put it into sherry casks for a period of time. Then they took it out and they put it back into traditional casks to even it off. So the normal American oaks will give you a nice vanilla, sweet, smooth flavors. The sherry oak will give you a bit of spiciness, I think. And the traditional oak will even off everything and balance it so the whiskey will settle and you'll be like, yes, this is a nice, rounded, robust whiskey. So color looks nice, a little darker than amber, which is good. Now, because it's a non-age statement, I'm not sure how old or how long this would have been in the casks. So this color could represent to me that maybe the last traditional cask they put it in would have been an older cask, with some good charring, or the sherry casks were new sherry casks, not reused or third generation sherry casks to give it this color. Other than that, it would have been caramel, and I know Glenlivet normally doesn't put caramel or coloring in their Scotch. Yep. Flavoring, caramel flavoring. So let's go, nose. Ooh, sweet. When I find a good Scotch, I smile, right? Sweet, fruity, pears, apples, nice, light fruit, sweet. Remember, keep your mouth a little pursed, you can actually taste it a little bit. That's why the bottle is going down. Good. Every time I taste it, it's a bit of confusion, good confusion, but confusion nonetheless, because it's sweet, spicy, has a hint of orange, a little kind of citrusy. I think in this orange is not as, because it's sweet, it's not as piercing as lemon would have been. So this is remember, when you taste it, take a sip, roll it around, all parts of your tongue, front, back, underneath, sides, just roll it around a couple of seconds. Everything is stimulated. This Distiller's Reserve, very, very good. Has a little spice to it, but even the spice is not bad spice. It's not burning spice. It's I'm here. And the spice is not the first palate. The spice is just as it goes down to the finish. And the finish also has a little spice to it, but it's not a harsh finish. It's not a, oh my gosh, this is burning me. It is a, I'm here and this is nice. Let me settle myself. This is good. Good. I'm gonna take one more sip before I add water. Alright, so what adding water will do is it should open up just a little bit of water. Some people have droppers, some people use the caps. I just pour, but literally I would say like half a cup. It's enough water. It's a little bit of water. So what that will do is that will open up the aromas a little bit, open up the Scotch. I should get some more flavors. Now, as we said, triple cask. Scotch is really single cask. You put it in, you take it out, pour it, and you reduce the strength obviously because alcohol will be too high, so you reduce it to about 40 to 43% depending on if you want a cask strength or not. Most people add water to reduce it to 40%, then they put it in bottles, they give it to you. That's how it works. What some people start to do was re-racking. Re-racking means I take it out of that cask, that American oak, but it has to be at least 3 years. Doesn't say how long, but at least 3 years. Put it into sherry oak, put it into port, put it into Sauternes, put it into something else, so it can get the finish of that other one, so it will marry what happened in the American oak with this new cask. And I take it out, bottle it. Recently people started doing triple casking. So what they will do is they put it in an American oak, put it in a sherry oak, then put it in another traditional cask, and then they're like, oh, so now we have 3 layers of complexity. So I'm saying all that to say, because I put water into this one with all those layers of complexity, I expect things to change. So those, much lighter, much fruitier. Before I think pears, now it's definitely going to the citrus side, maybe a little caramel, something sweet in there, maybe even vanilla. But not currants or nothing along those lines. Very light fruit. Smile says it all, right? It's almost like I tasted a new whiskey, like I just opened another bottle, because it's changed. The spiciness that was there towards the end and then the finish, almost completely gone. No, it's just light fruits. One more. Oh man, fruits, and more fruits. This is good. Definitely gonna hide this away, because yeah, it's a problem and I'm not traveling right now, COVID restrictions, so yeah, gonna hide that away. Finish it off. This is good. Remember, the Glenlivet triple cask matured Distiller's Reserve. If you can find it, I suggest to get it. Don't worry about it being a NAS, don't worry about the age statement. Trust me, it's going to be worth it. Thanks again for joining, thanks again for looking at my review. Look out for more. And as usual, follow me, Scotchman TT, Instagram, Facebook. Thanks again guys, see you at the next tasting. Slanjaba.